The Montgomery Bus boycott was a protest or a campaign that was caused by Rosa Parks being arrested on December 1, 1955, because she refused to give her front seat on the bus to a white man. This happened in Montgomery, Alabama in the United States of America.
The NAACP took Rosa Parks out of jail, but that wasn't enough for the African Americans. They protested with nonviolence by boycotting the Montgomery City bus line for 381 days starting on December 5 of 1955 to December 20, 1956.
The African Americans made up 44% of the total population in Montgomery, and they decided to show that they didn't like how they were treated.
They did carpools and walked instead of taking the bus. 90% of the black citizens that used the buses were part of the protest.
This was a very important event because in those times, blacks and whites were very different. People like Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King were brave, and they wanted blacks to have the same rights as whites.
The NAACP did not only take blacks out of jail, but also made a taxi service just for blacks not to take the Montgomery bus. This system worked for quite a while.
Blacks wanted to have the same equal rights as white people. They could have different buses, but both buses need to be same quality. E.D. Nixon, a famous lawyer, thought that he could break down the segregation because of Miss Rosa Parks.
Joanne Robinson was another woman that was screamed and kicked out of the bus because of sitting in the front seats. Martin Luther King believed that if 60% of the blacks helped in the protest, they would accomplish what they wanted.
Every day, the protest grew with more people, and every day the buses were emptier. They treated them with cruelty and injustice. The protest became violent, and they fought hard in court.
They came up with the boycott idea because standing for each other didn't work and created killing and hurting. African Americans believed it as a good way to show that they wanted to be treated the same, but in a non-violent way.
Finally, after a year of boycotting, now it all ended. Blacks and whites sat side by side in the buses.
Right, turn off the lights, we gonna lose our minds.